You are live, and you are here in the Podcasters Lounge. Welcome. I'm Chris. Today I'm tired, Chris. Just a little tired on several different levels, but nothing crazy, nothing terrible, all right? And don't forget, our Podcasters Lounge Facebook group is awesome, and we're almost at 1,000 members. What are we at? 972. Yeah, pretty soon. So, yeah, if you're not a member yet, join the Facebook group. But remember, don't promote yourself and don't shamelessly promote all your stuff because you will get banned immediately. And of course, the lounge is brought to you by me, Podcast Engineering School. Learn to engineer and produce podcasts at a professional level. And I got some, so we're just going to chill tonight, obviously. So if you're here, say hello. I got a few funny things to discuss. Hey, Brian Ensminger, what's up, man? Good to see you, man. TopTierAudio.com. That's all I'm saying. No, I just actually finished production on one of my episode for tomorrow. I finished production on it. And one thing I wanted to ask you guys, or Brian, if you can hear, or if you can tell, I disabled the StreamYard audio processing. So my audio should sound better, but I don't know if the level is loud enough because I'm always worried that my level going out on stream is too low. So if you think my level's fine, I know it's not terrible, but if you can give me any feedback on that. Yeah, just pondering your prospects. You know what? You need that Spotify money, Brian Ensminger. American Liberty, what's up, buddy? Oh, I sound great? Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, I actually listened to the playback of, I think it was not last week's lounge. I forget. I watched one of these lounge streams on my TV, and my voice sounded terrible. It like literally was distorted, and I'm like, why is it distorted? And I think maybe it's because I had the StreamYard processing turned on, and maybe I was driving that a little too hard. Anyway, welcome to the lounge, everybody. You know, you're in the Podcasters Lounge. You know what that means? It's time to chill. Do you have a place where you can kick your feet up right now and have a sip of a beverage? I drink it straight, okay? Water. Oh, man. So welcome, everybody. Okay, maybe my level might be a tiny bit low. Okay. Oh, really? Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Oh, you need more gain, do you? Oh, okay. Let me see what I got over here for you. I don't want to add too much, right? Anyway, that's 3D, about 3 dB louder. Chris Stone, Spotify. Yeah, dude, that's like 1 Satoshi per stream. Love it. Beer in hand. Oh, hey, Devona. Beer in hand. Look at Jim Collison sip and puff. Is he the only one sipping and puffing? By the way, if any of you guys want to, I don't have any awesome guests lined up, and I didn't ask any of our awesome members to jump on the stream with me. But if you're around and you want to jump on the stream, let me know. Send me a Facebook Messenger message, and I'll send you the link. Can I turn it up to 11? You know what? We could try. Actually, at the end, so the episode of my show that comes out tomorrow, at the very end when we yell "sound great," I was yelling "sound great," and I had the thought in the moment to turn my mic pre on my channel strip like all the way up, and I cranked it up, and it was distorted, and it was so loud. Anyway, I kept all the distortion, of course, because come on, we need that at the end there. But anyway, I did turn the volume down because it was loud. It was like, whoa. I turned it up. Normally, right now, with this mic, my mic preamp is adding 36 dB of gain. I turned it up to 66 because that's how much I get on my channel strip. Cigars and bourbon? Yes. Pointing up to Jim Collison? Yes. Jim Collison, you know, he knows how to do it. All right, so a few things. By the way, if you're here, if you're new, say hello. Tell us what your show is. Tell us where you live. I'd like to know where you all live. I mean, I know where some of you live. So has it been a good podcasting week, you crazy podcasters? You maniacs putting out audio into the world? Indeed. So, okay, so a few things. Number one, I want to give a shout out to podcastresourcedirectory.com. So this is a new site. I think it's a new venture. And I did register my show here. And, you know, okay, I want to know what you guys think of this because it's called podcastresourcedirectory.com. I know there's probably a million different sites with a million different things, right? But I don't know what sort of prompted me because I think it's like $20 or $25 to join. And I was like, you know what? I don't know. So I joined. I'm like, let's see. I don't know. Maybe that's dumb, but it wasn't that much money. And so now I'm on there somewhere, my show. I don't even know. Wait, editing and production? Wait, are we going to find my show? Look at Brian Ensminger there too. And I'm not there. That's funny. So there you go. Podseam. Is this Daniel Abendroth, right? Is that? No, that's not him. That's different. Similar 4 letters, but anyway, so that's so wait, hold on. I want to see what you guys are saying. What the muffin? What's up? Wait. You went on your first today? Did I miss something? What'd you do today, Devona? What the muffin says, hello on a short break at work. Thought I'd stop by for watch. Awesome. Yes. Welcome. Glad you're here. Glad you're popping in again. You're becoming a lounge regular now. You know, it's like those people at the bar that are there every night. Although I wouldn't know that. I never frequented a bar every night in my life, ever. Oh, it's any size donation? Okay, cool. Oh, mine was an example. It's under educations. Training and education. Makes sense. Oh, and yours is there too. Look at you with dual categories. I need that, actually. I need to be in editing and production too, right? All right, I'll have to follow up with them. Oh, your first show, Devona? Really? You literally put up your first episode, I guess? Okay, I'm going to switch to that, but then I'm going to come back to that and explain it. Wow, that's awesome, Devona. Great job. Congratulations. Today's an awesome day. You need to have a drink. All right, let's everybody drink for Devona, all right? Everyone take a sip, whatever you're drinking. Okay, here's to Devona. All right. So, okay. I don't know if you guys remember. Previously, by the way, the last week, the lounge was insane. Do you guys realize how, wait, Devona, now I'm so confused, Devona. Anyway, last week in the lounge, we had 2 lounge streams last week, and they were both phenomenal. The question is, have you seen them both? All right, now I'm on Firefox, so the thing is, I don't know if I'm logged in. Oh, I am, actually. Oh, wait, here we go. This is live now, but I'm actually want this. So, if you can see, we had the Just Busters the females took over. That was my funnest stream ever. That was awesome. And then 2 days before that, you had 5 experienced podcasters give a guided tour of their post-production, their software and processes. Remember that? Dude, that's quite a week in the lounge, which is, oh wait, yeah. I mean, this lounge is just supposed to be chill for fun, but that was awesome. Right, Chris? Yeah, the ladies did great. It was awesome energy. That was fun. So, oh, look at Michael, the sound guy. Dude, Mike, I shouted you out in my episode tomorrow, which I recorded yesterday, believe it or not. I had 5 or 6 episodes done in the can. So for the last 5 or 6 weeks, I've literally done nothing as far as recording and production. I sort of needed a little break. But so anyway, I recorded yesterday and it'll come out tomorrow. And I gave you a shout out, Mike. But I forget why, actually. But I mean, there doesn't have to be a reason. So anyway, yeah, the Location Sound podcast, everybody. If you're not listening to that, then I mean, I've heard that's what they do now on like sets, like recording sets, like movie sets and stuff. They walk up, like when they interview people for the job of, you know, the boom guy, the grip, or any audio employee, the first thing they ask in the interview is, so how many episodes of the Location Sound podcast have you heard? And if the person says, what is that? I don't even know what that is. The Location Sound podcast. If they say that, thank you. Interview's over. Thank you. Goodbye. Thank you for your time. No. Thank you. Go ahead. Okay. Thank you. Good. We're done. Thank you. You haven't heard that show. I mean, what? Please. Yeah, the lady show. Oh, would they? Yeah, no, I'm not even going to go down that road, but that's so funny. Chris, have you checked out the Podcast Editors Academy stuff? Yes. So yeah, so the Podcast Editors Academy, they asked if I would offer a PES discount for their members. So I am. So if you join the Podcast Editors Academy, you get a ridiculous discount on my school. And but anyway, yes, I haven't followed it so close because like for me personally, it's not a school that I'm actually gonna I'm not gonna probably be active in it or want to even join it. Because I'm part of some other groups where I get support and stuff, and technically speaking, you know, I'm not a beginner, let's say, or intermediary even. So, but it looks great. You know, Steve Stewart is a great guy. Mark Deal, great guy. It's the real deal. It's Mark and the Podcast Editors Academy are the real deal. Definitely. Oh, Michael, the sound guy, you saw the part 2 of me on Wild Tracks. Yeah, that was fun. That was like a 2-hour recording session with Rick Beers. That was so cool. All right, what the muffin? See you later. The first question, you thought the first question was, how many nights have you hung out in the lounge? Oh, no, dude. The lounge is... Although that's kind of funny, though. The lounge. You know what? We really need to get an Arnold Schwarzenegger impersonator to do some like voiceover work for the Podcasters Lounge. I'll see you in the lounge. It always takes me like 10 or 15 minutes on stream to figure out that I should keep my water over here instead of over here. Like every stream. You'd think I would remember, just put it there, but... So, Brian Ensminger is about to launch his first Hindenburg training course. Dude, that's awesome. What a lot of work. Yeah. Yeah, thanks, man. And congrats on your Hindenburg training course. Yeah, I mean, you've made many great videos on Hindenburg already that have been public for years, and they've helped a lot of people. And, you know, if anyone asks about Hindenburg, I always just tell them, hey, go watch Brian's videos, because that's, you know, and of course you are a PES graduate. So I'm happy that good things are happening. Yeah. Okay. So here's the deal. Do you guys remember back about, I don't know when it was, Daniel Hager. It was one of the previous lounges, and what we did was Daniel Hager was in the chat, and we were talking about spam email and stuff like that. And then we were talking, and someone, it was probably me, said something like, oh, we should just, everyone spam Ralph M. Rivera, right, through his email. And someone gave out his email. I didn't give out his email. No, but but it's not a big deal. Like, we weren't going to really spam him, but it was funny because Daniel Hager says he actually has one of those email, like, where he can schedule emails. It's like a whole system he's got. So he created a specific one for Ralph that was going to send him an email like every few days for like 3 weeks, and just make him really like lame emails, like nasty spam emails, and then see how long Ralph would would just receive them, or if he would unsubscribe, right? Because Daniel, from where he is, he can see if Ralph would unsubscribe or whatever. So anyway, Ralph, okay, I can't remember if Ralph heard that. I don't know. But anyway, today, Ralph sends me a personal, like a text message on the phone, and he just says, wait, what did he say exactly? He says, this is for Podcasters Lounge. And then he attached 2 pictures. I'm going to show you these 2 pictures because these are emails that Ralph got. All right, let's do it. So here's one of them. I'm going to zoom in on this. Okay. Ooh, wait a minute. What happened? Uh-oh. What'd I do? Oh, there it is. So check this out. It says Podcasters Toolbox. Hi, Ralph. I don't know if can you guys read that? There we go. That's better. Okay. I guess the subject is Podcasters Toolbox. It says, hi, Ralph. My name is Daniel, and I learned about Podcasters Toolbox on a YouTube channel called Podcasters Lounge. Your approach to changing things up and trying new... wait, hold on. Your approach to changing things up and trying new tactics marketing podcasts is very unique, and I think more people should get to know about it. I'm the host of the fictional podcast, insert fictional link, and would like to invite you to be a guest on our show. If you'd like to talk with me about how the Podcasters Toolbox is bringing value to podcasters, you can schedule a recording session with me in my calendar. There you go. I hope to talk to you soon, Daniel. All right. Well, that's one. This is a separate one. I don't know. I just find this so funny. I just love this. Okay. I love Podcasters Toolbox. Hi, Ralph. I saw you on Podcasters Lounge, and I love what you're doing to help podcasters with Podcasters Toolbox. I'd love to have you on. I'd love to have you on Name to share your story with my audience. If you'd like to find out more about and see if being on my show is a good fit, reply to this email. Oh, geez. All right. So let's breathe on that for a second, right? Is that... Oh, Mike McCown, what's up? Hey, Eldest Bro, what's up, man? Good to see you. Jim Collison saying yes. Mike McCown, hard to read since you're driving. Okay, well then just listen. Well, I read it to you, so that ended up being helpful. Hey, I did something helpful. Someone, date, can we timestamp this date? So anyway, here's the whole point. Ralph sent me those. Does Ralph know that it was Daniel trolling him? Or does Ralph really think it's just a troll that was using the term Podcasters Lounge? That's my question to you guys. Is it A or B? Is it A or B? Did Ralph really think it was just a random troll, or did Ralph know that it was Daniel from the lounge and all that? So dark there? Yeah, it is dark here? You know what? I turned up this light because I didn't think my face was bright enough, so I turned up my light. But now I'm bright and everything behind me is darker. So is that okay? Is it okay, man? Do you accept me as I am? Okay. So anyway, I don't know. So then oh, you think Ralph knows all? Okay. So then I sent Daniel Hager an email after Ralph sent me those two things, which I just showed you. I pinged Daniel Hager and I said, "Hey dude, Ralph literally sent me these. I don't know if he knows or not." And anyway, Daniel didn't really know either. So, but he sent me he sent me something else. Hold on, let me get it ready. So this is what Daniel sent. This is so good. Yeah, this is what Daniel sent. Check this out. It's the actual it's every email that he sent Ralph and the date and time and that it was opened. Look at this. Look at how many emails he sent, dude. Oh, this is great. From April 23rd. All right, there's 1, 2, 4 on April 23rd, 3 on April 30th, May 1st. Oh, there's a lot. Oh my God. All right. Anyway, May 6th and all the way up till wait, the 27th is today. He's still hitting them with emails. Oh, this is brilliant stuff. Oh, this is great. So anyway, I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, so I don't know. Maybe Ralph's not here now, but Ralph's the only man who can settle this mystery. Oh, I heard thunder. Yeah, there's thunderstorms here over the next however long. Yeah, the story is such a cliffhanger, right? It was, right? Was that a good story? All right. Anyway, everyone, welcome to the lounge. Don't forget, we have the Facebook group. If you're not a member, join the Facebook group. And if you're new here, tell us, say hi in the chat. Tell us your name and tell us what your show is and all that stuff. The lounge is just where we chill, so we don't promise any value. We're just chilling. So if you're looking for value, you will find none here. Unless we screw up. So, yeah, it's hot there. Oh man. Oakland. Mike McCallan is from Oaktown. I had to pop a cop in Oaktown because he wasn't giving me my props. No. All right. Well, this is a monologue. So, all right. Well, since it's a monologue, you guys have any news this week that you want to share? What is this? Mike McCallan, Leo holding hands. What? Oh boy. So, as I mentioned about my show, I recorded it yesterday, and it's publishing tomorrow. The podcast engineering show, of course, and this is the first time I've ever put out an episode that I really wish I could have done more editing to. And I did a lot of editing. I did a lot of editing, but like because of the guest's microphone and because of many aspects of my guest, I would have liked to spend significantly more time cleaning up his track and all that. And when you hear it, you'll know what I mean, because this is the type of cleanup that is it's like painstaking, really detailed stuff. It's not broad stroke stuff. It's and so I just didn't have time, like, because I recorded it yesterday, and I know that's my fault, but I'm just saying. But anyway, it's a great episode. It's a great episode because my guest, Ray Rayburn, he was involved in 1984 when Saturday Night Live switched their whole audio setup from mono to stereo. That was in 1984. And this guy, Ray, was like the consultant who was doing that. And he also worked at the UN in 1992. The UN, the United States Senate, the United States Senate. Why did I say UN? The United States Senate went all digital. All the microphones on the senators' desks, and everyone has a microphone and all that. And anyway, that whole sound system, it went 100% digital after the mic and after the mic cable. Basically, from the preamp onwards, completely digital. All playback, all recording, everything. And anyway, so that's the episode tomorrow. It's a good one. I liked talking with him about that. Pretty cool times. Eldest got an email from a place that me and my friends were trying to move into, and we got approved and got the green light to move in. All right, man. So you got some new lodging. That's awesome, man. I hope it's a good place. I hope very good things happen in that place. And I hope good things happen to you in your life while you live in that place. Oh, Mike McCown launched his trailer for a fun show he's doing. Really? Where's your what is it, Mike? Tell me the name. I want. Can I play it? Do you give me permission to play it? Yeah, sweet, man. So hopefully you can stream a lot. You've been streaming a lot, Eldest? I haven't been. Well, I've been watching a lot of chess streams, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like personally I'm in like a post. I don't know how to say it. Like the whole COVID thing, like, 2 months, 2.5 months, whatever. Like, you can deal, like, you can kind of put up with things for a while, the differences, but after a while, it, like, things shift. And you still have to put up with everything, but it's just like there's a shift. And I don't know, there was a shift recently. All right, Eldest, you can't stream from there. You only get 0.87 up. Okay. Unless you hotspot off your phone. Okay. Oh. All right. Yeah, maybe we won't play this, Mike McCowan. All the best to you, buddy. But yeah, the book is called you have a book called Donald Don't Grab That Pussy, and I guess that's the name of now your podcast. So there you go. Fun stuff. If you're into that kind of stuff, funny stuff. Jim, I'm okay. I mean, if you want to jump on, definitely you can. I mean, I'll send you the link. If you want to jump on and hang out, it's totally up to you. I'm just chilling. I don't have a plan. So, like I said last week, we had a couple streams that were amazing, and they were planned out in advance. And so, coming off those two and coming here tonight and not having any plan, or really, it's just a completely different experience. But so where's Ralph is the question. I wish we could like joke spam Ralph while we're on the stream. That'd be great. And so we're about to welcome a legend, everyone. I want everyone to pause, take a breath. And say hello to Jim Collison. Jim Collison.
Maybe a legend in my own mind.
I can't hear him.
Oh, really? Can you hear me now?
Oh.
StreamYard
I can hear you, but this happens with StreamYard.
Yeah,
When the guest first comes on, there's a huge lag, and then it catches up.
Yeah. Yeah, I noticed that this week. I've been doing a whole bunch of interviews. It's probably caught up by now, right?
Yeah, yep, just caught up.
Yeah. So I've been doing a whole bunch of interviews with folks. We've just been using the record side of StreamYard, not broadcasting, just record and then you download it. And I noticed that every time, and I get suckered into it. I finally, when a guest joined and I said, "Hey, can you hear me?" And then there was that weird lag and I'd be like, and so finally this time I just waited. It took me about 5 or 6 times to get it, but it is definitely a StreamYard. I want to say it's a problem. It just takes a second for the audio to catch the video or the other way around, whatever it is.
Yeah. And yeah, it could also be actually, I wonder if they do anything in the beginning of the stream. Well, no, here's the thing. If I kept you in the waiting room for a while, I wonder if it would have caught up in the waiting room.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a thought.
Yeah. No, it's a good one. It's a good thought. I should ping Gage over there and see, like, hey, do you guys know this? It's not a big deal. It is for a show like this where you want to bring people in live and have them look good from the very. I mean, I never look good, but to look good from the very first word, and that doesn't give you the chance,
Yeah.
Hey, you said you're kind of past the COVID thing. Like you
no,
felt
not past
shift?
it. No, I'm saying it. No, it has. It doesn't have anything to do with COVID. It's like if there's a period in your life when something is happening, like something significant, and then like if that goes on too long, then you sort of it morphs. Like it doesn't mean what it used to mean, and then you as a person, you reflect on how you feel about that morphing, and then that's how you grow as a person and morph as a person. So that's all I'm saying. That's what's happening to me now. It's not good or bad.
Yeah. No, I was interested in that. I was interested in that thought that you were having there. Cause we're 11, 12 weeks, whatever. I think this is a week 11, depending on when you start counting. And I kind of feel like this is, at least what had been the new norm is now just the norm. It's interesting.
Right. Yeah. And I think in general, I feel like that's a normal, that's an every few months occurrence in life itself.
I think you're right.
Yeah. Like, cause it just, sometimes it's more than a few months. Like sometimes you can put your head down for a year or two probably. And just like that happens to me when I start new projects. Like when I started podcast engineering school, I just put my head down for years and just did it. And,
right.
So sometimes the time period can be long, but it always sort of ends and then you reflect on it. It's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think sometimes it's marked or you're in it when the flow starts happening. So you get to the end of the week and you're like, oh, where'd that go? Like what happened? Geez, how do we get here? Right.
Right.
And you're not thinking about it. I think those first couple of weeks we were, you're thinking about every day. And the same thing I think happens when I went through Army basic training. And I think for folks that have that kind of event, where they do something that intense. My son was in the Marines. That was 12 weeks. I was 8 when I went through 30 years ago. And you have a similar effect where the first couple weeks are like forever. And then you start adapting, and then those last 2 weeks just fly. They're just like, boom, boom, you're done and you're out. And you kind of have like done already? Where the first 2 weeks, you thought that was never going to end. And so I'm kind of wondering, maybe we're in that phase with folks.
Right.
Regardless, American Liberty says out there, handled it all wrong, or handled it all was all wrong. Regardless, everybody, or at least some of us, went through this different period, right? And coming out the backside of it, whatever that means. So,
right, or the mid side of it.
I'm just glad I'm still podcasting through it.
Oh man,
this has one of those, propensities to get somebody to quit.
Yeah,
you kind of go ahead.
I'll tell you what, I like I mentioned before, this week rolled around and I didn't have any more episodes recorded. And it did cross. I didn't take the thought seriously, but I did have the thought that, you know what, maybe I'll just take a few weeks off. And that's like, as soon as I had that thought, I was like, that's like, such a small thing, but it immediately leads to very bad things, because then 1 week turns into 2, and then that's it. Like, it might be 9 months, or could be. For me, it wouldn't be, but you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
You start slipping.
One thing leads to another, and you're like, oh, I'll do it next week. And then, okay, I'm picking it up next week. And I'm going to pick it up next week.
Yeah.
You know?
And part of the rationale is, you know what? I missed 3 weeks. What's the difference, 3 or 4? No one's going to care. And then
and that speeds up. And all of a sudden, it's like 9 months later. And you're like, holy crap, I've been gone a while. And then you feel bad, right? And you're like, oh, I could never come back. Nobody'd ever take me seriously again, or nobody, Yeah, I'm at 4. Let's see, this week 447, I think, and then I have a week this week, and then I'm taking a week off. But I've had some of those thoughts. I thought maybe 450's it. Coming up on that. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's the end of the internet. And then I have a great show or whatever, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to schedule a bunch more out, and I have enough guest hosts that I could schedule out indefinitely at this point, where I could just keep scheduling them. But
right.
yeah.
By the way,
a slump for sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, Liberty. I agree with everything, but I don't know if we will underreact. Meaning, I think the whole world and the media especially is always overreacting. So I don't. But maybe you're right. I don't know. I really don't know. Devona says the lounge lives on. Yes, we are all alive.
Yeah.
There's such a wall we're hitting, though. Ready to feel normal again and find my rhythm again. Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to be. Look at my hair. Like, when we started this thing, I had short hair. And now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I did. It was like, I was almost as short as yours.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And I went to went to my barber and was like, leave most of it, like clean it up. But I think this is going to be the COVID look for a while. I think I'm going to continue to grow it out, and I like it.
Yeah. Looks good, brother.
Thanks, man.
Mike McCown, he quit his old show after 500 plus. Well, yeah, that's
yeah.
Once you're there,
I got a year. So for us, December 4th, I think is the date, is the 10-year anniversary. And I hit 450 in July. So I haven't quite done 50 a year to get there. I'm short on a little bit, but that's a long 10 years, dude. That's a long 10 years.
10 years, man.
Dude. Okay. Chat room. Chris, what have you, besides being married or whatever, what have you done consistently for 10 years that
yeah,
that's a long freaking time.
That's a long time.
What kind of things do you do that long?
Yeah, that consistently.
A job, maybe.
Yeah, of course, a job, or obviously a business,
yeah,
vocation, whatever that is. And then
maybe you have a car for 10 years.
Yeah.
Maybe for some people, maybe they hold on to a car. I have an 06, so I've had that for a while.
So musicians would play their instrument for years and years and years.
That'd be another good analogy. Or they may play and they may even be part of a band for 10 years.
Right. I was thinking computer programmers, but that's sort of like business, but
maybe an application would last 10 years. Like maybe a piece of code would last for 10 years before it gets replaced by something else.
Right.
Yeah, it's just a huge, for me, that's just a huge milestone.
Meditation practice.
That would be nice. What if you meditated for 10 years?
See, theremin player for 28 years.
Yeah.
What's up, Scott? I meant to say hi before, but we.
You ever grown a beard, Chris? You ever done a beard?
Yeah. There's even pictures of me. Hold on.
Okay.
Yeah,
in the band days. Can drummers have beards?
This is fractal days.
is that allowed? Can drummers have beard?
Yeah. Well, I know Bonham did at times.
Did he?
But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can.
I always thought they were I don't know.
I don't think I'm gonna find it right now.
I
But
didn't
anyway, I do. There are
Yeah,
pictures
no
of me
worries.
at Frappo.
I believe it. I just wondering if you ever you
But,
weren't tempted,
what happened-
not tempted
but it was
during this
only-
current phase.
What's that?
You weren't tempted. Like beards are all the they came back, right?
No. So what happened is 8 years ago, 7, 8 years ago, that's when I had my beard, and then it started to turn significantly more white.
Yeah.
And then it got to the point when, like, I just thought, because I wasn't that old, but I looked significantly older than I was.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just shaved it off, and I haven't grown it since. Because now it'd probably be like all white, which is whatever if you're going for that look.
I kind of am now. I've got like
See,
this side. I used to have a big dark patch here, and then like this one over, like this. So see how it's got this.
Oh, yeah,
dark,
yeah.
Right. And I wish it would just all go gray. And yeah, beard caster. I you don't want to. Sarah has told me, my wife, you can grow a beard. You can't grow a big beard. So she put her foot down. Said no.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean,
no, and I don't think I could do it. I don't think I have the discipline.
right?
So I just started going a little bit lower and down on the cheeks here. So it's kind of, I don't know. That's the great thing about a beard. You can kind of change it up all the time.
Yeah.
And it, in a couple weeks, it'll grow back.
Yeah.
I thought about
Go for
just
the
going goatee. Yeah.
I was just gonna say.
Yeah, you did say.
Actually, that's what I had for most of my facial hair life was a goatee.
Okay.
Yeah. So for years, back in the 90s, and
I started the whole beard thing because I had a blemish right here on my nose that would not, because I was shaving, it kept irritating it. It would get bigger and it'd bleed and it would, that kind of stuff. And so I went to the doctor. This is a stupid story. I go to the doctor and I'm like, hey, what should I do about this? He goes, grow a beard. Stop. Because like every time I shave it, I nick it. And then of course it bleeds and I got to stop it and it looks bad. He goes, just grow a beard. And I went, okay. So I grew a beard.
Say.
I went home. That was a physical, in September. And I went home and about October I started growing. It took me a while to get the courage to grow it. And then, sobriety is another one of those 10-year plus things you would celebrate. That's a great point.
Fishing. Maybe someone goes fishing every week
For 10
or two
years.
for 10 years.
Or maybe a vacation spot. Maybe you have the same vacation spot you go to all the
Some
time.
people have that, right?
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah. Or own a vacation home. That might be another thing you do for that kind of, where you have a vacation home for 10 or 15 years, right? Until you decide to do something different.
Yeah. Or like you could like have a boat. Like if you live near the ocean, you could have a boat and use it.
Yep.
Especially if it's somewhere south, you could pretty much use it all year round.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. This lounge is far different from the ladies show we did. Yeah. The ladies show
ladies
was
good. Ladies, it was a good show.
That was awesome.
It's a good show. It was good last week. I enjoyed it for quite a while.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good. It's a good one. You guys did a good job.
Yeah. But I decided today we need to come back with the lounge boring this week. Boring
like this. Boring.
Oh,
this is boring, my friend. Boring. No cigar and this.
Wow.
It's damp and cold out. It's not since they cold. It's 68 still, but it's like 90% humidity here right now. So like it's just kind of last night. So my birthday was yesterday, and so last night I sat
happy
on the
birthday,
deck.
brother.
Thank you. Sat on the deck with my daughter, and we enjoyed old fashions and enjoyed a cigar. It was pretty nice. Just that's what you do on your birthday. And then I'm like, okay, this between my birthday and this COVID thing, I need a couple weeks. Like,
okay.
I mean, I don't need 10 years, but I need a couple weeks maybe to just kind of chill out. So the lounge tonight, chill lounge.
Yeah. That's right. We got to keep the bar low.
Yeah. Yeah. When the guys come on, you got to set that bar low.
Yeah. We just have to keep, most of the lounge has to be just dreary and,
you had Regis on a couple weeks ago. And then wasn't there another guest coming on after that?
Yeah, Ray Romano was supposed to come on.
Did he
I think
make
he
it?
pinged me actually. No, he came in to the lounge with the ladies and he said hi in the chat.
Okay.
And I asked, I was like, is Ray Romano coming on the show soon? And I didn't get an answer. But by the way, Jim, previously on a lounge stream, we talked about aliens and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And you said you'd love to talk about it.
Yeah.
And then I emailed you because I have a friend who, I mean, he's way, way, way into all kinds of stuff, even nutty stuff that you would think was absolutely crazy. And but his availability is a little spotty. So
that's okay.
Anyway, I
really just wanted to talk to you about it. I didn't.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't looking for an expert. You'd brought it up that one night, and I'm always interested. I take a very pragmatic approach to all those things. Religion and UFOs. I take so it's just I'll still throw it out there if you want to.
Yeah. Well, we could talk about it now. Let's talk about it now then. Yeah. I mean, I love it. So
if you want.
I didn't know Scott was the current national goatee champion. Is that true, Scott?
Wait a minute.
No, that can't be right, dude.
How do you become a goatee champion? Like what kind of?
What's up, Ben?
What kind of requirements are there? Like, is there a contest?
Yeah.
Like, is it the straightest, or is it longest, or is it prettiest?
And do you run out of a doorway and have to run around and grow your beard? And is there a performance aspect?
Shape? Does that have to keep a shape? Can you wrap it around your neck? I mean, I
mean, can you do like a triple Lindy for extra points or something? All right, Devona, see ya. Show notes await.
Show notes.
Ben says hi. Show notes, yeah.
Did we talk about that? Are you a show notes guy? Do you like doing that, or do you like?
I'm a minimal show notes guy.
Okay.
I just write a paragraph, say hi. I don't say it like that. I say
hello.
This week's guest is Ray Rayburn. He's the CEO of XYZ and this is his website. We talked about so much, including, and then I bullet whatever notes I have written down from the episode. And that's it. I say, thanks for being a great guest. That's it. What are your thoughts on show notes?
Well, I have to break up, now that I've been doing this for as long as I have to break up my production process into a couple days. Cause like if I sit down all in one shot and trying to do it, it probably takes me 3 or 4 hours to do everything, maybe 5 if it's a long show. And so I can't do that in one sitting anymore. So I got to kind of break it up. And then I found my best writing is first thing in the morning. So I do everything like Friday night. I do everything to get the audio produced and ready. Then I don't write a lick of show notes. And then I wake up early Saturday before I Ask the Podcast Coach, and I write for an hour. And then it doesn't feel like it's so heavy. And an hour is probably too long. Half an hour. I do what you do. I write an opening paragraph, and then I go through, and I use Otter to transcribe it. So then I go through and fix the transcriptions, and then I pull out some timestamps to create like a table of contents, and then I have the actual transcription. I don't know if anybody ever reads that stuff, but it looks pretty. So it's one of those things that I like to do. But
those are really good show notes, man.
Probably like 45 minutes to an hour to probably do all that. And then when I'm done with it, I don't want to do anything again for a while. So then we do Ask the Podcast Coach. And then if I feel like it, like during the winter, then I finish the show. In the summer, I don't want to sit down here when it's nice outside. So I go out and do yard work, and I finish it Saturday nights. And it just works for me. It just works better to kind of break up the, and I used to be kind of hardcore, get that thing out as fast as I could, sit down and just grind it from, cause we're live on Thursday nights. So from the time I woke up Friday till I posted it Friday night or Saturday morning, I just would grind, and it just got to be tedious. I was like, oh, so I broke them up. I broke up the band, but
makes sense.
Yeah. It's a little bit easier that way.
So Scott, if you want to talk about alien stuff, you're welcome to jump on, man. Let me know. Send me a DM.
I'm a pretty non-alien guy, so just so you know, I'm a pretty non.
I'm
which I don't see a lot of. A lot of
people who push
Oh,
back
like I
against
am-
the alien stuff.
Yeah, who are I am. I don't even think it's a possibility.
Right. Well, that's hardcore
I mean,
right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, there's
Which
the,
is
the numbers.
fine.
The numbers are pretty low, right? I shouldn't say it's not a possibility. I should say it's a very, my opinion,
Of course.
very low probability. So, but that that's just where I stand.
So yeah, there's different ways to look at that probability. I mean, by the numbers, when scientists do the actual numbers of the amount of stars and planets and all that, like what you come up with is you come up with such a big number that the chance, like even if it was like 0.00000000000000001 chance that there is life elsewhere, then there probably is, because there's just that many stars.
Yeah.
So
I guess I should clarify
I don't know what that means, but
I believe there's life elsewhere in the universe. It's impossible, I think. The numbers, there's a gigantic probability. I mean, there has to be. So I just think there is. Are there advanced civilizations that have put it together enough to come visit us in these reaches of our solar system? That's where I question the numbers. I just think the universe is the solar system's, I'm sorry, the galaxy. There we go. I just think the galaxy is too big, and I think let's call humans have a indefinite lifespan, and I'm not sure we'll ever get to a spot where we're actually able to do that. And I'm pretty sure others follow the same tendencies. No, it's just a guess. But I just don't think so. I just don't think that part is probable. It takes so much more to get life going is the easy part. To get it to outside of its local area is incredibly hard.
Yeah, I also have those exact thoughts. Every thought you have, I've had those thoughts, and I totally respect them.
Yeah.
And so my next question after that is, okay, so we're having those thoughts because we're in this place and we're in this paradigm.
Yeah.
Right? We have the knowledge we have, and that's what we
Yep.
have, and there's honestly infinite knowledge that we do not have.
Correct.
So in our little tiny bit of knowledge, it's hard to think of, well, how could you get that far? How could a spaceship go from A to B? But as life progresses and as intelligence grows, and as science moves forward, there's especially with time and space, things can happen.
Yeah.
To us, it would seem like science fiction that, that's crazy, like Star Trek stuff, right? Yeah. All that stuff. Yeah. But that could happen though. I'm not saying it is true. Yeah. I'm not saying it will happen. I'm saying there's such an infinite amount of what we do not understand that you can't even really answer if someone said, are there aliens or not? Yes or no? You can't answer that. If you can guess, but you can't prove it either way. And that's one of the things with these scientists it's one thing I do not like about scientists. They will argue all kinds of stuff, but then if you start asking them about stuff that cannot be proven, there's a bazillion things that science cannot prove. They have no proof.
Yeah.
But they have a belief, they accept it, but they can't prove it. So we might not be able to prove there's aliens, but you can prove very, very little yourself. So
yeah.
So who says who's right?
Yeah. No. Yeah, but their belief, there's the belief in science says they can't believe in something until they can prove it, and they can't prove any of that stuff. So right. I mean, they're just holding to their beliefs, which I appreciate. Doesn't mean they're necessarily right. They should say they don't know. Probably not that there isn't any. Probably the correct thing for scientists to say is we don't know.
Right.
We just don't know.
But that's why you just said you lean on. Well,
I'm not a scientist.
But you immediately took it back. You said that you believe that we're the only, like, there's no aliens. We're the only one.
Well, no.
And then you said,
correct.
no, but
yeah. Okay. No, that's good thing. I needed to clarify that a little bit. Yeah, in the sense that there's life. I think there's tons of life around the universe. In fact, there's incredible things out there. It looks like, just from our study of our own solar system, that life starts spontaneously way more than we think. Like, we used to think it was magic, that, it was like, oh, it was a 1 in a million shot. Well, no, probably not. Like, it's probably way more common than we think. But based on what we know today, to travel the distances that it takes and to get to the spots where that life exists, the probabilities. Now, yeah, maybe there's some things we don't know. That especially in travel, and that's going to have to be, that's the trick, right, Chris, is that there has to be some huge leaps in figuring out, like, how does that work? I mean, I think we have some hopes and dreams, but
yeah, it's like,
now,
picture back in the 70s when they were designing computers, and to program a computer, you had to punch in a card.
Yeah.
And then put the card into the computer would read the card, and that was like the data, and that's how you program stuff.
Yeah.
Like, if you took someone in 1971 who was punching cards like that, and you asked them to come up with something like Google, the guy'd be like, you just can't do that. There's like you need like a trillion pieces of paper and all that, like, and not enough people to do that. Like, they would say, you can't do that. That's not possible. It's just not possible, Chris. We can't create Google. We can't do it. But then 50 years goes by, and what happens is, now we're not looking at punch cards and paper and trying to solve the problem using punch cards and paper, which, by the way, in the analogy, I keep hitting my mic.
Me too.
in the analogy of aliens, the punch card and paper is analogous to us thinking that we need like a physical ship with a rocket engine to go fly through space, and it's going to take us, a million years to get to the nearest star. Like, that's just like simple physical thinking, like the punch cards. So when computers improved, and then there was no more need for punch cards, then everything was digital, then and time went by, technology improved, then all of a sudden we can have Google, which is unbelievably amazing. But how did we do it? We didn't do it with punch cards. So that's why when we talk about aliens and people say, well, we just can't get there, it takes too many years, like that, to me, that I agree with that. But what I'm saying, that's not how we're going to get there. It's not going to be with rocket fuel and engines and all that. It's going to be something so different and crazy that you would never have even believed it. Just like the guy in 1971. What is Google? You're crazy. Get out of here with Google.
Anyway, with that analogy, you should go back to the 50s. 70s, Vint Cerf was thinking about the internet. So there was somebody thinking about, like, they turned the internet on in 1976 at UCLA. And so you just probably go back. But the point's valid. The point is valid. I agree with you. I agree with you.
Go back to the 50s.
Yeah, probably 50s or 60s, probably a good example. They would have never. But I think there's a fundamental difference between your computer example, so to speak, and what we understand about the physics of the universe. And granted, there are things we don't know yet. Like, we don't really fully understand dark matter. We don't fully understand dark matter, and we're still struggling to get some kind of unified theory for it all, right? Which I don't know if we need to, but let's just say, I think we know more. Like, I think we know more than you're giving us credit for. I mean, I don't disagree. There's a lot of things we do know, and so
no, I agree. There's a lot we know.
There's not more to discover.
Right. I agree. We know a lot, and I'm not being dismissive of what we know. I'm not poo-pooing our progress. I'm not doing any of that. We've come so far. We're in a great position. Everything's good. Everything's good. At the same time, I believe that there is there's more in front of us than behind us.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my
sure.
feeling. I could be wrong.
Sure. No, I think there's some validity in that statement. I mean, we still do have a lot to learn. I think because we haven't done a lot, we're better at computers today because we spent enormous amounts of time and money
What's up, Justin?
in research doing it, right, where it made sense. My dad worked for IBM for 35 years, and he watched that whole computer revolution happen for IBM, right, and for the rest of the world. And that happened relatively quickly, but that could happen because we could do the R&D. We haven't really been able to do a lot of the R&D that we need to do in space yet, beyond rotating around our planet. We sent a couple people to the moon and a few robots to Mars. We there's some things we need to figure out, just trial and error, on getting around our solar system.
By the way, this guy Corey Good and many others talk about a secret space program that the government has.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
And that we've been all kinds of places. There's all that transcendent technology that I'm talking about. It's there.
Yeah.
And
maybe.
Yeah.
And maybe what we're seeing in UFOs sometimes too is that, and not.
Oh, of course. I agree with that.
Yeah.
By the way, hey, Justin. And I was just.
But not
reminded,
our current government, right?
Jim, you brought up earlier, we were going to have the fact that haven't gotten in touch with Ray Romano yet. Yeah. So I didn't know when he was going to be available to come on the lounge. Cause I have
is he tonight though?
I have a special, I don't know. Is he tonight?
Did he hear us?
I don't know. Because we were talking about the fact that
listener, right?
I mean, the Regis was on. We were saying how great that was, and then.
Well, Ray listens to the show. Maybe he heard me say it and thought, "Boy, I can all come on the show." However he talks. Right?
Oh no! Yeah, he might have heard you. Yeah. Yeah, dimensional travel. Yep. And so anyway, the whole secret space program.
Yeah.
There's all these different races of beings. There's a galactic federation.
Oh.
There's ships that can go basically anywhere. And this guy Corey Good, he did what? So Corey Good talks a lot about a lot of things, secret space program. But what he's saying is actually from the average person's point of view. Yeah. What he's saying is way extreme. Because he said he went on the secret space. He was kind of drafted into a secret space program, and then he did something called a 20 and back, which he spent 20 years in space serving the U.S. secret space program, and then when they brought him back, they age regressed his body and mind back into his younger self. Wow. So he didn't. So the 20 years that he was gone happened basically in no time. And he talks all about. I mean, it's like. To me, even that's like kind of far out stuff. Yeah. I'm not against it. I mean, I can't say if it's true or not, but like I guess my background in the whole alien thing started with Zecharia Sitchin and his book, The 12th Planet, in which he talks about the ancient civilizations of Earth, Babylonia and Sumeria, and how when you decode all their tablets, they actually tell the story of the beings, the Elohim that came down, and and he relates it to the Bible because some of the stuff that's said in the Bible corroborates with all that stuff. And he tells the story of how humans were created, that we are a genetic hybrid between that race and basically the monkeys on Earth. That's why that explains why the monkeys are where they are, but humans are so far above. How did that big gap happen? They call it the missing link and evolution and stuff, but it makes more sense that we were genetically created. And again, there's all these tablets and things that he presents in his book. It's pretty riveting, and it's all very scholarly and well done. He's not like some crackpot. He's like, he's a dude who's respected in his industry. Let's put it that way. So yeah, The 12th Planet, interesting book. Oh, Liberty. We do not have a secret military space program. Okay.
I think that's what Snowden said too. He's like, no. He's like, Snowden's like, I've seen a lot of stuff and no. So interesting. Why? And that would be
Yeah.
one of my things. Like,
So that,
if there was anybody who would know,
well, there's an explanation for that, but it's because back in I think it was the 50s, it was after Roswell. Because when Roswell happened in 1947, right? That's when the government sort of split, and there was like that's when, I don't know, there's like a secret, not a secret government, but like a secret arm of the government that not everyone even knew about.
right?
Like, it wasn't really government. It was sort of in the government, but it was its own thing.
Quasi.
And so all that stuff back then, apparently, and of course I'm just talking about what I read, but apparently that's when they split it. So like the people in the regular government, they don't actually know what's going on in that. I forget what they call it. There's a word they use, but that's why, like, the president of the US, like, everyone thinks like, oh, he should, demand they tell him everything about aliens. And it's like, no, no one around him knows. They don't just let everyone know. It's something way deep in the background. And that's why even a guy like Snowden might not know about all that too.
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
It's a possibility. I think there's a lot of possibilities. I tend, as you look at world history and you look at the way humans really operate, it's always the simplest things that's the truth. Usually the truth isn't convoluted and complicated. It's usually really, really simple, and I have a hard time believing that a group of people could keep that kind of stuff a secret for that long, or those kinds of durations with that many eyeballs on things. And I don't know. I know humans. We can't even survive 2 months in our own houses cooking HelloFresh.
Mm-hmm.
We lost our minds, that way. And so I just don't have a lot of faith in the human race being able to keep something like that secret, regardless. So. Listen, I hope, like, you talk about a federation, like, this is where Hollywood always has it. Hollywood telegraphed a whole bunch of the current technology that we have, and whether that science fiction influences R&D, and so things get developed based on what people see in science in our science fiction, or just some of the science fiction writers are just looking at current trends and see. I remember watching Star Trek Next Generation, and they all had these little tablets in their hands. Like, this was the 80s. We didn't have any of that, right? Connected to a computer, doing that kind of stuff. They had the iPad. That predicted the iPad. And so I would hope. So as we think, certainly Gene Roddenberry thought ahead on this and said, what if we could get to this spot where we could connect with these races that are around, and with his warp technology. And I hope, I would think it makes sense. They don't speak English like they do on Star Trek. We're not going to run into another race and they speak English, right? That's just stupid.
Yeah.
But like on every Star Trek we ever saw. So, but I hope. But I don't know.
Why do you
travel?
So I have a question.
I get hung up on travel.
Okay, yeah. So why do you like this topic? I'm very curious. Why do you like this topic when you seem to, really not believe in all the stories? Like, why? What is your interest in this topic? For instance, why did you want to talk about it with me?
Oh, because I love hearing different opinions on things. Like, I love the debate. I want to say I don't think so, and then I want to hear, because it's interesting to me to hear what you have to say about it, and to consider it, and to be like, oh, like, today, if we took today's current political model and we were having this conversation, we'd be shouting at each other right now, and I would have insulted you about 10 times already, right? Because that's the way we dialogue today. We just yell at each other and insult each other. But I like the dialogue, of like, okay, well, convince me. Like, let's talk about it. Let's tell me some things. Tell me how you think we're going to solve. Like, I don't think faster than light travel is possible. Even if we use transporter technology like we see in Star Trek, where we're turning ourselves into energy, the physical limitations, and again, based on our understanding today. But
we've proven that there's some the action at a distance phenomena in science. We don't know how that works, and that seems to work faster than the speed of light.
Yeah. There's the quantum entanglement is what you're talking about.
Yeah,
where we take two quantum, we move them apart from each other, but we haven't proven that. We don't really know.
No,
I
think.
Works.
Well, I thought it was proven. I actually don't know, but
yeah.
I thought that was a done deal because even Einstein called it spooky action at a distance.
Yeah. No, I know in theory it's supposed to work, but I don't think anybody's ever done it and then taken it somewhere else and it's done its thing, right?
I think they did. Yeah.
Well, they would have to.
I think it's happened.
They would have to go. It would have to go halfway across the universe and still work.
No, they didn't do it that way. They did it. Yeah. They somehow tested it. What is it called again? The quantum entanglement.
Quantum entanglement. Yeah, I think that's what they call it. Quantum entanglement.
Yep, that sounds right to me.
Yeah, but so Chris, that is communication, or that is something happening. That's not us physically traveling there to make that happen.
Right. But my only point is that when you keep talking about that the ships can't travel faster than the speed of light, and I'm giving a example of something that is faster than the speed of light that has been proven. You see here, scientists have successfully demonstrated quantum entanglement with photons, electrons, molecules of various sizes, and even very small diamonds. So quantum entanglement is real. Science admits it. They've proven it. So, and again, the only reason I brought that up is because it's a good example of something that we've proven that we still don't understand. We don't understand anything about that. Mm-hmm. Not one thing about that, right? And now, but what you're talking about, like Star Trek style, like sending someone's body from here to Mars that's different.
Right.
I understand that's way, way, way advanced, way in the future. I get that. Definitely not arguing against that.
Yeah. No, I like the conversation. I like to think of what the possibilities could be.
See, Liberty says if you want to get a peek through the looking glass, look into yes, you can be in two places at once, literally. What is that, a video or something?
No, I think that's the essence of quantum entanglement, is that you have two things interacting with each other the same way in completely different places. So in other words, I'm not just here, but I'm also represented in some way somewhere else in this quantum entanglement. So it's not me being represented physically just being here, but also being here and someplace else dimensionally. That's the point he's trying to get at. So like the whole idea of quantum entanglement is if I entangle these two things, then I spread them apart. No matter how far I spread them apart in space time, if I do one thing to this, it does the same thing to the other, right? And somehow we don't understand how that works across subspace. We don't understand that part. We don't know why that works, but it does. So what if you translate that to a human? In other words, what if I could make myself quantum entangled and now I'm here and I'm somewhere else, wherever that somewhere else happens to be. And he's right. I mean, in the thinking, like, but you're right. We may have to completely rethink our concept of what travel means. You know, we have some pretty good ideas at a rudimentary level of what it takes in space to travel, and the faster we go, what happens to matter and what happens to time. We have some pretty good ideas on that. And so that current model won't work. That just won't for us. That just is not something that, you can do. I guess you could put a bunch of people on a ship and put them to sleep and send them across the universe and wake them up when they get there. But I think American Liberty's right in a lot of sense that if we're going to do some of these things, we have to completely think different about it. Like it's not going to be like we get in a car today when we want to go somewhere. We get in a car. Right, it takes us from A to B in a certain length of time. In space, that space-time means something completely different in the sense of travel as we go from A to B. As we get closer to the speed of light, that affect the matter that we are is affected by that, and it does weird things. It does really weird things, So
Yeah, it's a what do you call that? Paradox. Because the closer you get to the speed of light, the more mass you have. So as you approach infinite speed, you become infinitely massive.
large. Yeah. Or infinitely massive. Yeah, it's a better way to say it. Yeah.
And then it's like you're always approaching infinity, and you don't know where that is. Infinity, what a concept that is, right?
Yeah, and it does some weird things to time for you. Like,
right.
With relativity, time the at that point time becomes an illusion. It's not really it's there, but it does weird things, right? And so you stay young. I mean, maybe if you can do it that way, and everybody else gets old.
Yeah.
Which makes me think, like, I wonder how relativity, like, we are flying around the galaxy at these incredible speeds. Like the galaxy we are in right now is moving within the universe at some incredible speeds. What does that mean? So if you're talking about life on other planets, which I agree with you, I think there are, but how their space or their place in space time could be completely different than ours based on the speed at which they're moving. And so if their galaxy, just say it's moving 3 or 4 times faster than ours, which at those kinds of speeds is fast, like, all of a sudden, are they developing slower because they're going faster?
Mm-hmm.
Or are we developing faster because we're going slower?
Mm-hmm.
And what happens when we bridge those, if we ever do get that opportunity and bridge those space-time speeds, like, what is that going to mean? Like, there's some interesting math there.
Fascinating.
Yeah, well, just think of, I mean, when we think about time being consistent, but it's not. Like, it's not consistent in the universe.
Right.
And the universe continues to expand, right? Things aren't getting farther away from each other uniformly. And so what does that mean? Are we going to be able to get places if we want to travel physically?
Right. So I want to bring up the subject of remote viewing, because it's something I've read about and studied and actually done some of it. And of course, most people, if you know anything about remote viewing, you know that it supposedly started in the 70s with a secret arm of it was either the CIA or the Army or something. They came up with remote viewing protocols and all that, and they've done a lot of testing over they've done it for many years, but it sort of, I think they officially shut it down in the 70s, but I think it kept going under the radar. But remote viewing is one of those things where people have been quite successful at doing that, and using a scientific type of a method to do it too. So doing everything in a controlled environment with someone there with you, or at least someone on the phone helping you go through the certain scientific protocols, and then try like remote viewing a place. So they give them these coordinates. It's usually like an 8 or 10 digit number, and they say, okay, those are your coordinates, so tell us what's there. And then they go through the protocol, and they do the sounds, the sights, the smells, and the colors, and then they start to get a feeling of what's there. And people have been given targets, like popular targets, like the Empire State Building or what's that stuff like that, and they literally describe it. So there's as far as I know, it's been successful so much that that has to be taken seriously. Our ability to just know things, right?
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I don't know. This is the first time I've ever heard of it.
Oh, yeah. So it started in the 70s during the Cold War, when the U.S. was trying to remote view the Russian, missiles and the silos and the Russian army and stuff like that. So they would target specific geolocations and stuff like that. And and these so remote viewing is sort of like meditation. Like you close your eyes, you go into a state, and then you just get feelings and sense. You sense things, and then you know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
you can willfully target a place, and then you can put yourself there and describe what you see.
So are you mentally there so you can see it, but you can't? Can you interact with it? Like, are you a presence that is there? Can you manipulate things? Can you?
So later on, this guy Courtney Brown in the 90s wrote some books, and he did that. He actually he didn't target stuff on the Earth. He targeted like alien civilizations. So he would be able to remote view like a planet or something that's, or the gray aliens, their home planet or whatever. And when he did that, he would see, I don't know if he could interact with the physical beings there, but because he was remote viewing the grays, they sort of knew he was there because they were so advanced. Like they could, even though he wasn't there physically, he'll say like, oh, they know I'm here now, kind of a thing. So I don't know if you can interact with the physical space or if it's just an intake thing.
Yeah. So let's say I could do this and I could show up inside of boardrooms, inside of companies.
Well, not show up physically, but
no. I was there.
Okay.
I could hear conversations. That's what I'm assuming. You could, when you're in these places. So I may be able to go into places and hear conversations that are happening.
So so hearing conversations, that is very, very specific. So far with remote viewing, it's more general stuff. It's usually general stuff. Like you feel the tension in the air, or you can see, it's like you're perceiving things. You might not hear like someone speaking words, but I guess you can. Courtney Brown did.
I mean, because I would think if I could do that, I could turn that into a pretty lucrative. Like, there's a lot of things I could do that would put me at an advantage.
But here's the thing: this
is where I get skeptical. I'm gonna.
So this goes to the idea that how would I? All right, it's just an idea in my mind. I don't know if it's right.
Are you okay talking about all this? Is this good? I'm not.
Oh no, I love it.
Yeah, good. I'm enjoying it.
Absolutely love it.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so. No, so there's this concept that when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Mm-hmm. It's like when you're ready for something, the teacher appears. And well, how does that happen? Is it the universe sending that person to you? Or is it just that you have changed your own vibration in a certain way to attract that or whatever. But so similar to that, there's this idea that the higher beings, they actually can sense what lower beings are doing, and then they can actually not allow lower beings to do certain things. I guess it's similar to what we do with animals, right? We could tie them up in a pen.
Yeah.
Okay,
Control.
So I think sort of like that.
Okay.
Higher dimensional beings, they can almost, it's like they'll allow, like they can allow you to see something or not allow you to see something. I mean, but again, I'm just talking in general because
Yeah.
So that's why, and so if your motive is to make money, that's in your vibration, and they would definitely feel that, and they wouldn't let you succeed at remote viewing the winning lottery numbers.
Okay.
That's one thought. Yeah. I don't know what this is.
Yeah, well, and I don't even think seeing the winning lottery number, because those are all set in a way. And here's what I would rather, if I could do something like that, I would start studying, different companies that are about to make important decisions, and then I would buy. If I knew in advance of things that were happening, or if I knew in advance of conversations that were happening, then I could manipulate my own holdings to do things financially that would make me a millionaire and maybe a gajillionaire, right? I would look like the smartest guy on the planet. And I just never see those guys doing things like that. Like they say they can. I'm going to be the skeptic here for a second. They say they can. Oh yeah, we can do all these things. And then Like, well, yeah, well, but the human element of greed always kicks in. I'm like, if you could really do it, why wouldn't you be doing it for your own self? Because, why wouldn't you make a few bucks off of that thing and put yourself in some situations where you could really benefit financially? They write books. And, so I'm just like, that's what makes me super skeptical on some of those, is these amazing powers. And then you kind of go, wouldn't you, if I could do that, man, I'd instantly think like, okay, how can this benefit me?
Okay, so I think the distinction is, again, like I mentioned before, it has to do with the greed, and you won't be able to. So I think anything that helps in your spiritual evolution would be allowed.
Okay, so it's like the Stargate. Was it Stargate that had the ascension? I think it was, right? Stargate Atlantis that had the ascension concept, and then you could, I think it was Stargate Atlantis. You could ascend to this plane, and then they kind of controlled what the lower, like the rest of us, had to deal with. Kind of that religious God kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. And that and so thinking about God,
what a mess that would be.
You know how, like, okay, all the major religions, like, they think of God as like almost like a ruler that you have to appease to and you have to be afraid of, right? That's to me, that's religion. Fear and greed are the two things about religion. Greed because people want things, they want a good, happy life.
Yeah, control. They want control.
And fear, they're afraid that if they do wrong, that God's going to punish them.
Right.
So spirituality doesn't have those two, and that's actually one of the main differences of religion and spirituality. There's no fear and greed in spirituality. It's just, spirituality is just that I am a living being. I am connected to the universe, and we are all one. This is one energy, whatever. And it's love, really.
Yeah.
I mean, and love on a higher dimension, not physical love, obviously.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's spirituality.
Looking out for somebody's best interest. That's that version of love, right? Where you're looking.
No, not even that. That's an expression of love. That's not love.
Right.
Love is, well, there's a whole conversation. There's many ways to think about love. You could think of physical love, sex. Some people think that's love.
Right.
Other people, it's companionship. That's love, all this stuff. But when you talk about love on a spiritual dimension, it's just, we as humans, we humanize love. And then love is just a transaction. You can love your wife until she does something you really don't like, and then you don't love her anymore.
Right.
That's not love. Real love is there all the time. It's the foundation of the entire universe. That's what spirituality says. It's there, and you're part of it. You are love, but the only thing that's effing up your life is your own ego and your own desires. And that's why Buddha said, cut the chain of desire and you shall reach nirvana.
Yeah.
So this is the spiritual view of the world. This isn't religion. Religion is way different.
Yeah.
And one of my gurus said that spirituality begins where religion ends. So if you finally realize that religion is this sort of limited, half made up thing, and I'm not saying it's bad, it's all good, everything's good. But there comes a time with a lot of people when they sort of transcend their religion and they become more spiritual in a real sense, because then it's not about, it becomes more about a personal spiritual journey instead of just I go to church every Sunday.
Yeah.
So I don't go to hell.
Right.
So it's a completely different thing.
Yeah.
So, all right. Anyway, that was
I
a long
like it.
rant.
No, I like it. That's interesting to me.
That's why there's all tons of people in religion that are terrible people.
Yeah.
Why? Because they're just terrible people. The religion has nothing to do with it.
Right.
You can either be a good person or a bad person. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. I think we're all mostly that way. Do you find, all right, so really spiritual people, you would say good, bad, or neutral? Or is that even, are you even like, okay, so you're a spiritual person, right? So
well, I'm a spiritual aspirant. That's what I am.
Yeah, you're aspiring to be that way. I get it.
Yeah.
Let's think theoretically, so we don't make this personal, right? I don't want it to be personally about you.
Yeah.
But we think about a person who is spiritual.
You want to use the Buddha as an example?
Sure. If that's what, I don't know much.
No, I don't care. It just, we could say Joe Smith. Let's talk about Joe
Just a
Smith.
fictional person who is.
Yeah, Joe Smith, spiritual guy.
Yeah.
.com. Buy my book.
Wait a minute. Is that available?
Right?
Oh, that would be so great.
Really. All right. So with our example, we're using one example of a guy who's spiritual.
So is he good? Is he bad? Or is he neutral? And
Neutral. Neutral is
that. So what does that mean?
So okay, the
as a neutral
dualities of
person,
life.
Yeah.
The dualities of life.
Right.
Right? Good and bad, tall and short, green and red. Right?
Sorry.
Are you reading Liberty's comment?
I was reading that. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay, yeah, let's
Keep
read
going.
it.
Yeah.
Greed is for what is perceived value. When the all 36 universes become accessible, what one determines as valuable changes eventually.
I don't know what that means.
Well, the
keep going.
changing what values made sense to
Yeah.
me, but I don't know what the 36 universes means.
I don't either.
But
Keep going.
I like it. What was I saying?
It's neutral. The neutral.
Oh yeah, neutral. So all right. So the dualities of life. Like the duality. Okay, what's the difference between life and existence? Life is life. For instance, Chris Curran right now, I'm alive. And then there's going to be a day in the future when I'm dead.
Mm-hmm.
My physical body will be dead.
Yes.
But you could say my little spark of divinity here, whatever, somewhere in there, in my heart,
Yeah.
my spiritual heart, that spark of divinity exists. It doesn't die with the body. It exists. And this is why people talk about the afterlife and people talk about reincarnation. Mm-hmm. That's why you reincarnate, because you accumulated a bunch of what most people would call karma. The right word is actually samskara. You accumulate a bunch of this karma, and if you work it off, then it's gone. Then when you die, you actually just merge with divinity, and you merge back. Because we all came from the one thing, the whole universe and everything. Mm-hmm. In the end, we all end up coming back, and it's like the opposite of the Big Bang. It's what science calls the Big Crunch, but it's not really a physical crunch. It's just the whole universe becomes one again. And actually, that's how the universe breeds almost. It'll have, like, you know, let's say an existence of the physical world is trillions and trillions of years. It'll expand for trillions of years, then it'll come back into nothing, then it'll expand again. Each one of those is what they call, I think, a yuga in Sanskrit.
Where the universe expands and then contracts back on itself?
Yeah.
Okay.
It sort of goes into duplicity and diversity, and then it comes back to oneness. But the oneness is always there underneath as well. But anyway, that's how the universe evolves. And in the same way, that's how a human would evolve too, because when you live, you have experiences, and you have like this karma or samskara. And if you don't, so anyway, if you don't exhaust all your karma or your samskara, then you will be reborn again, because it's in the physical living that we have to work off our karma, basically, and learn to love and all that, right? Mm-hmm. To become love and all that. And so that cycle of life and death. Now, in life, so that's existence. That's on the existence level. We each have the spark of divinity in our hearts. We're human beings. And we have lifetimes. We live and die, and we have all this karma and samskara, and the universe is breathing, right? All that. And so that's existence. Our soul goes through all that, pure. But duality comes when we're in life, and then you have high and low, good and bad, and all this stuff. So, and it's all relative. It's just,
right.
You can't have one without the other. And so part of the the reason the master is neutral, and he's not really neutral, but he accepts everything as is, and he doesn't go up and down like the rest of us anymore. He's reached a steady state where there's no more karma and samskara to burn off, and he's exuding love, and that's all it is. And then when he dies, he merges back with the universe. That's the ideal, right? So again, we're talking in ideal here.
Yeah.
But that's the idea. So that's why duality is of the physical
Okay.
and human.
Yeah.
So that's why duality is really not that important in the big picture, but it can be painful, obviously, in life. If the more we suffer pain, it's not easy to suffer pain, but what the pain is trying to teach us to love, ultimately. So if you keep getting hurt, there's a lot of pain, and you don't learn your lesson, you're going to get more pain. You're going to get pain until you wake up and you transcend your own level of thought and you say, you have the realization. Like, I had this when I was 31 years old. I mean, my life was a wreck. It was a mess. I hated it. It's terrible. And I was like, I'm going to do something. So that's when I started meditating.
Right.
And that helped me get to that next level, sort of get out of myself, right? And try to see things from other points of view. And so duality is it's a trap. Spiritually speaking, it's a trap.
Do you think, okay, so like when you say if you don't learn your lessons, you're going to keep getting pain.
Right.
Is there an outside force causing that pain? Or is it just if like Chris, I can tell you, like,
nature is the delivery mechanism, by the way.
I mean, but if you're a person and you make bad decisions, like that pain's going to happen, and let me play the part of the skeptic on this. And so in your situation, when you decided, I'm going to stop being a jackass and stop inflicting this upon myself by making these decisions that I know are going to they're going to lead to whatever those things are, right? Whatever it was, whatever did it. So you begin to make that decision, much like when I'm overweight and not feeling good and I start working out, that decision to start working out leads to better outcomes, right? Because I'm making decisions to do that. That is an act of my will, right? I think, is that not a decision I make to do that? And will those decisions stop because of or will that pain stop because of a spiritual aspect, or because a cause and effect aspect where I'm making now? Of course, there's things outside of this where bad things happen to us that we did not bring upon ourselves, right? So how does that all play?
Well, okay. So to start with what you just said, the bad things happen to us sometimes without us doing anything or deserving it. And some people would say that's not true.
No.
But there probably is some randomness to things. I mean, the spiritual gurus say we've each led probably millions of lives. We've all been born and reborn many, 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 many times. That's what they say.
Yeah, that's what they would say.
And so, so if in one lifetime you just happen to come across a tiger on a hike and it just eats you, it's just one lifetime out of a million. So who cares?
Right,
bad luck on that lifetime. Oh well,
Gotcha.
Whatever.
That's how they justify it. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, well,
yeah.
Now, if you go deeper though,
that seems really complicated to me. Like that idea of reincarnation. This idea of reincarnation seems really complicated to me. Like, why? Again, I'm a big believer in the simple answer is usually the correct answer in things. Like sometimes when we overcomplicate things, they become, we're just adding layers of things. Usually it's the simplest answer, which is the true answer, I think. And so to me, reincarnation adds a really complex layer of like, how is that governed and how is that controlled and who makes those decisions and why, that to me, those kinds of systems have always been the kind where I've been a skeptic because I just kind of go, man, that seems complicated. Like, and it always seems to have its own motives in it. You know, its own kind of like, well, like in the sense of reincarnation.
So
Like,
what's the motive there?
yeah.
What's the motive? If a spiritual guide explains to you that reincarnation is what happens and explains why, what is the motive of teaching me that?
I think we struggle as humans, our brains evolving to this point where we want to think this isn't it. And so we could create and manufacture new, because we can. We manufacture.
Okay, we just make up a story.
Yeah,
make up a story. Oh yeah, reincarnation, whatever. Yeah. So I think in general,
like, I mean, think of just all the other religions.
No. So yeah, they're stories, and none of them can be proven 100% yes or no.
No, they can't.
So that's where it comes to belief and faith.
Yeah.
And that is its own. You know, there's no arguing with that. Right. So there's, you know, if someone believes one thing and you believe another, there's no arguing with it.
No. And I'm not trying to convince you, just so you know. I'm not.
Yeah.
So everybody knows. I'm not trying to convince you. I enjoy this dialogue back and forth.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm a little bit of a fatalist.
I know you like pushing people, and I'm glad that I've been practicing meditation and teaching spirituality for many years because I can handle this. But yeah, being a skeptic is fine. I would hope that one day that each skeptic in the world will come to a place where they find truth within themselves.
Yeah.
That transcends the intellect, and that doesn't have to be proven. So, you know, because right now we're just two intellects talking, and I mean, there's for instance, there's no way I can explain to you now all the spiritual experiences I've had in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not talking about going to church on Sunday and singing a nice song. I'm not talking about any of that stuff. But I can't. I can't tell you, and then I can't prove it.
Right.
So,
and listen, I don't on a fundamental level, I don't actually.
Hey, Daniel.
I don't expect you to. From that perspective, I'm not trying to convert you, or you're not trying to convert me. We're just having this conversation, which is awesome.
Yeah.
By the way,
the problem is, like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's like, it's something about being skeptical and just being skeptical about everything is a little suspect.
Okay, I'm not.
I mean, in fact, maybe you shouldn't use that word. Maybe, and
sure.
So, I feel that that's not the right word for what you are, Jim. I don't think you're a skeptic. I think you just like different topics, and you like questioning things. Like, so you don't necessarily need to peg yourself as a skeptic, and then you could peg me as the other side of the argument. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you're wonderfully thinking about all different things. It's beautiful. And we already agreed that neither of us can prove either way.
Yeah.
So then I don't know. Like, I wouldn't call it skeptical. I mean, you're questioning, yes, and you're talking, yes.
Yeah, sure. I'd be okay. I'd be okay with it not being a skeptic, of not being that title. You know, I land a little more as and I don't even know what to call it, but you know, it's kind of a naturalist. Like, we get this shot. We're here. We're a biological unit that exists on this planet doing its thing. It comes and it goes. By the way, still love the values associated with all these things, like to make this thing work on this planet and have the best quality of life possible. I think we still need to have a lot of those same love values that exist here to get, you know, we know what happens when we don't. Like, we have to have those things to make society work. It has to be that way. But I get a little, the questions I have are around, much like I have for some of the Western religions. I question the same things in the Eastern religions as well. To be like, that seems really complicated to me.
So I'd like to give you an example.
Simpler.
I'd like to give you an example of karma, or again, more accurately, samskara, which is technically the seed of an action for later. So if you were to, let's say you had a full bottle of Jack Daniels, like a big bottle, or a medium bottle, whatever. If you were to drink that whole bottle in the next 5 minutes, could you predict your state in about an hour from now? Yeah. Wow. Why? Because it's cause and effect, right? If you drink that much alcohol, it's just physical. It's a physical thing. There's going to be a repercussion for that thing, and you can't avoid it, right? So that's karma. That when we do certain things, like if you were to drive around your town and just start cursing at everybody every day, eventually everyone's going to be like, yeah, that guy Jim, he's an a-hole.
Yep.
And then you're going to talk to people and no one's going to like you. And well, why don't they like you?
Right.
Oh, now, is it their fault now? You're going to put it on them? So spiritually speaking, literally everything that you go through and experience is because of your previous thoughts and actions. You were born a pure soul, and as you had desires and satisfy those desires, you added this layer of samskara. And it's described in spirituality as almost like a cocoon. It's like you're wrapping yourself in this cocoon of desire, and it's like your own little world. And you enjoy / suffer that world. So spirituality says cut through that, get rid of your desires, and then you have to live out. Like if you just drank a bunch of Jack Daniels, you're going to be drunk for a few hours. So this is what happens when people start meditating and start practicing spirituality, is that they think they're going to start meditating and their life's going to get better. It actually gets worse first, because you're going to have to pay for everything you've done. So the wisdom says, pay it, but don't create any more samskara. And that is actually the trick to spirituality. How can I live in this body, in this life, and not create more samskara for myself? Because if you can live your life and not create any samskara, and not wrap yourself in a cocoon, if you can be pure and open and just pure, that's the goal, because you're going to merge back. I mean, anyway, spiritually speaking, that's the goal.
Sure.
So anyway, just some ideas.
No, I like it.
Yeah. And it's also very practical. That's the thing I like about spirituality. It's very practical. The onus is on you.
Yeah.
You want to go out and get drunk? You're going to get drunk. Like, what do I have to do about that?
Right.
You're going to go out and get drunk every night and sleep all day, make no money, have a miserable life, and that's my fault? Like, the nature of this physical existence seems to be that whatever you get what you give, and you get what you earn. And if you do bad stuff, you got to suffer consequences. I mean, when I was a kid, I was like, God, I was really young. I was probably like 5. And there was like a dog, like 2 houses down. And this is the age when like 2 houses down is like, you feel like you're way far away from home. And they had a dog, and I don't know why. I think the dog was barking or something. And I must have I don't remember throwing a rock at the dog, but I think I did. I did. And then somehow the woman opened the gate, and the dog came running after me and bit me in the leg as I was running away. And I was like, oh man, like that was big. And then my mom looked at it, and the whole thing. And it's like, that's life, man. If there's a dog there and you just throw a rock at it, you're going to get something in return eventually. Anyway, that's one way to look at it.
What about all those soldiers in Chernobyl that didn't ask to be put in harm's way when that reactor started to melt down, and were asked to go to the roof to start throwing debris off the top? Not a single one made it. right? They all died because they experienced 10 years worth of radiation in about 4 hours, right? Not their choice. They didn't put themselves there. They thought they were doing the right thing. So does we just say, okay, that's a life, and when they're reincarnated, they will get another, like that, like all the cause and effect makes sense. I get that, but I think there's also things where we get things we didn't deserve, or we get things we did deserve. We do get things we didn't deserve. Where the universe, we happen to land in the right spot at the right time, or the wrong spot at the wrong time.
Right. Well, so that's a good question, and who knows? But
yeah.
I think I think the spiritual answer would be that even if you don't think you deserve something, maybe you do. Maybe you just don't know that you deserve it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's all kinds of stories like that, ancient stories about. Yeah.
Yeah. See, I struggle with the word deserve, because that always has this implied. And forgive the wording on this. This is really kind of the first time I've been thinking through some of this. That has kind of this implied justice system associated with it. In other words, I did something wrong. There's a tally of things against me, and there's a overlording, or there's a force that is making sure that I take the lashings for that which I did. Right.
Yeah. And by the way, it happens in the other direction too.
Well, yeah.
If you do something good or achieve something great, or you're so proud of yourself and that you're on top of the world, and you get drunk with that's a good thing happening that will also you'll have to suffer the consequences of that too.
Yeah.
And what does that look like? Well, that's when stars get big and huge and popular, and then they get old, and then they fade away from the spotlight. And that ain't pretty, right? I mean, they go through something, right?
Yeah.
So it's not, I know what you're saying. It's not like deserve. The word deserve is, it's, I don't know, the way I think of it and look at it, it's just simple. It's like cause and effect.
Yeah.
It's like one way, and one way you could describe God. Do you ever play handball? Or
as a kid, long time ago,
or racquetball? Anyway, when you hit
sure.
the ball and there's a wall,
yeah,
and you both hit the ball up against the wall, and then it bounces back, right?
Yeah.
Here's the thing: if you throw the ball straight and hit the wall, it's going to bounce straight back, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you throw it from the right, it's going to hit and then go to the left. And if you throw it from a left angle, it's going to bounce and then bounce off to the right, right? So coming off the wall, when the ball comes off the wall, who decided that? The wall? Who decided what direction that it comes off the wall? That is decided by the direction it went into the wall, with the spin and the speed and all that.
Physics.
So it's just physics. It's cause and effect.
Yeah.
And it's so in a way you could look at God like that. It's just there, and it is what it is. And when you do something like this, when you're in God, it bounces off like that. And
yeah. But imagine that racquetball court has 1 million people on it, and there's 1 million balls, and we're all playing at the same time. And so when I'm playing with two players and I know where that ball's going to go, I have true cause and effect. If I hit the ball, it goes a certain direction. I know where that ball's going to go. Right. But if I introduce 1 million into that, I no longer can control or know where those balls are coming from. And so when one of those balls hits me in the eye and pokes my eye out, did I deserve that? When it was just because there were 1 million balls playing all at the same time? Did I do something in playing that game that caused me to deserve, using that term, deserve that losing my eye because of the chaos that was on the court.
Yeah, good question. I think the distinction there is the whole deserve thing and the whole the ball bouncing off the wall. I think my idea is that applies in a more general sense.
Sure.
Meaning right now, like I could hold this bottle here, or I could hold it here. I could hold it here, or I could hold it here. Does it really matter? Like, is it my samskara that's making me choose either here or here? Like, honestly, it's such a small thing, it actually doesn't matter. So we could argue about why is the cup here when it's here? Well, what if it's over here though? Is that my fault, or is it, do I deserve that, or whatever? Like, at some point, the examples become so small and tiny that we don't know. It's just chaos at that point. I mean, I might hold it here. I might hold it here. I don't know. It actually doesn't matter. So then when you zoom out from that, again, zooming out.
Yeah.
And if you've lived a million lives and there's one life where a bolt of lightning just hit you and killed you, like, you know, in that life, yeah, it might hurt for a moment and then you're liberated, but you know, so yeah. I always like zooming out. In fact, I wrote something about zooming out. Like, because as humans, we get so narrow focused in our lives, and we get so we end up living in such a small little circle. And there's a reason for that, and scientists describe that because that's where you're comfortable. You know, there has to be chaos and order, right? That's what Jordan Peterson talks a lot about, chaos and order, which talk about a guy who is so maligned in the mass media, but is so literally brilliant and literally so helpful to so many individuals on such a deep level. Those two things happening at the same time, I don't, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. All right, Daniel has it. Let's read this. Hey, Daniel. In a couple sentences, here's my explanation. God created a perfect universe, but rebellion against God has corrupted it. So in his love, God allows things that are the result of living in a sin-cursed world. So in his love, God allows things that are the result of living. Okay, so right. So God allows bad things to happen because it's a sin-filled world anyway, and just bad stuff happens. So, yeah interesting.
An explanation for why... why things happen, like
clean your room
beyond cause and effect, beyond cause and effect. Cause it's not, I mean, I think lots of things that had happened to us are one of the million racquetballs smacking us in the face. Cause of, we live in a chaotic world. Right. Mm-hmm. And so I don't necessarily think bad things happen to us that are a direct correlation to the things we're doing. And on the contrary, I think sometimes we're in the right place at the right time and great things happen to us. And we kind of, we kind of luck into it and things break the right way and we get the right opportunities. And, I think it's a little more chaotic than everything has a reason. Or there's something controlling all of those, all of those pieces. It's okay. It's good. Though.
Yeah.
It's good.
So the order
I appreciate it.
The order in the chaos does exist, though. Like that's because chaos theory is one of like my all-time favorite topics ever.
Yeah.
And that book Chaos is literally my favorite book ever. So, chaos is there. Yeah. But there's also order in the chaos.
No, there's great order in the things. Like most of life is order. Like most of life is cause and effect. Most of that, to your example, when we simplify it and say, if I had another Bud Light, or maybe it'd take about 20 Bud Lights at this point. And okay, so what's that going to do to me? Okay, so we know that that's an effect. But when I'm driving down the interstate and I'm going to work and somebody happens to be driving down the interstate the wrong direction and, goes head to head with me and that's it. That wasn't necessarily, I don't think that was necessarily something I did wrong.
Well, you don't know.
No, you don't.
That's so you don't. You can't say, I don't think that you can't say, I don't think that's because of karma. I think it's just chaos.
Sure, I can say it, but
no, you can. But what you really mean, but deep down, you don't know. You admit you don't know, right?
No, I don't know. A buddy of mine was in Arizona in this latest shooting that was down there. So he was a couple days ago. There was a guy who came in with the AR-15 and started shooting people. He was close enough to it that it was hit by shell casings, like right there, right. And he's fine. He was safe, but others weren't. In that day, those people who weren't, because they decided to go get a hot dog, and their day was over.
Right.
You know, that's where I struggle with the.
Well, no, you don't struggle. You don't know, and I don't know.
Yeah. No, right on. Yeah.
It could be one, could be the other, but there's no way to definitively say which one.
No.
Yeah. So we don't know.
Yeah.
Which is just can be your argument for anything, actually.
Yeah.
You know, that's why spiritual wisdom is special, because after you live a certain way and improve your character and do, you know, clear out some of the crap in your brain and clear out the samskaras and the karmas and really simplify your life and all that. Like when you do all that, you start to know things, and know meaning like it's the kind of knowing that like a mother knows that she loves her baby.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not a question. Like it never was a question. Sure. It's not a question. That's there. That will always be there. That's it. And so in your spiritual practice, you can get to places where you just know things. You just know what's good, and you know you and again, it's it can be seen as vague, obviously. And again, if you were to, can I prove it? No. Can anyone prove it? No. The only way you can prove it is in your own life, when you actually take action and then you achieve something.
Right.
And that's why people all over the world every day amaze themselves, because they actually put the work in to do something, and then good things happen. And they're like, wow, that was cool. It's like, and then on the other side of the spectrum, we all have so many bad habits, even if they're tiny and negligible. Some people have really bad habits, right? That are bad.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, when you sort of evaluate yourself as a human being, you know, there's so much more upside than where, like for me personally, for instance, there's so much more upside, I believe, spiritually in my life. And I know that I'm growing into that, but you know, right now it is what it is, but there's so much upside, and that excites me, kind of thing.
Yeah. Chris, I think I would agree with all the behavioral aspects of what you're talking about. Like, I think if you're a good person, like we need to be good people. There's a lot of things we need to do there's a lot of good behaviors. Like there's a lot of good things that we should pay forward. There's a lot of great stuff. The way we treat people. I'm all on board with that. I think we should do that regardless of what I think a lot of religion and spirituality gets to that. I'm all for it. I'm a big fan of it. Because it's the right thing to do. Like we need to do that as humans, regardless.
I agree, but there's a problem with that. See, people take all that the wrong way. Is there something on my screen? Oh no, that's people take that the wrong way. People take that, like when you say that it's good to do good things and be nice to people and all that, what the average person does is they go out and they try to be a good person, and they try to open doors for people, and they try to help people. And you know what happens to all those people? Because I've been that guy several times in my life. You know what happens when you try to go out and help people and try to do good things? The world pisses you the F off. That's what happens. You're inevitably driven to this place where you're like, you know what? I'm trying to help all you people. You don't want it? F you. That's where it goes. Because you know why? People don't want that help. So being a do-gooder is you would think that's good, but that's actually bad. People think, I have to go help everybody. I have to volunteer. I have to do this. I have to do that. No, spirituality says work on yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, 99% of the time. I mean, helping others, it's not bad to help others, but the other thing about helping others is it becomes part of your ego. Look at me. I help others. I volunteer. What do? Nothing. I volunteer. I donate. I do all this. That's more ego. That's spiritually bad for you. So it's just a weird thing.
Yeah,
that
I don't think it has to be, though. I don't think it has to be. I don't think.
No, but I'm saying it's weird that
I don't
like
think it
true
has to lead to that.
spirituality isn't understood, and those people who are the do-gooders, they're not even open to listening. So it's like, well, that's just an example of me wanting to help them, and I can't, which is life.
Yeah, but without that spirituality that you have, and I believe you have it, but without it, what I don't have, if I try to help somebody and they don't want it, okay, I move on to the next person. I help people who want to be helped. I do things for people that want to receive it. I do those things that, the do good. I don't like that term, but I try to be a person who is genuinely trying to help other people. Right. And from that stance, and I know not everybody's going to want it. And I know the world's going to shit on me. I know those things are going to happen, and it doesn't mean I should stop doing them. Cause I know, like, if we don't do those kinds of things as a race, like that, the best of us is not that way. The best of us is when we actually have each other's best interest in mind when we're doing those things. So, I do. The
distinction is the intention you're doing it with. A do-gooder goes out because they want to help a bunch of people and look good. They want to put shit on their LinkedIn profile.
Yeah.
I'm a member of this charity and that charity.
Not. But say they're not. I mean, say they're doing it out of good motives.
No, but that's the other side. If you do it with a pure heart and honest intention and naturally, that's the other thing.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have to go way, way out of your way to do one small thing for someone. That's not natural.
Yeah.
If you're there to hold the door open, hold the door open. If the person's 50 feet away, one of the most awkward positions in life is when some idiot holds the door. They're 100 feet away. They're waiting for you to walk the 100 feet. It's like, dude, shut the effing door. I'll open it myself, dude. Why are you? Why?
I love it when you do that and people start running. And you're like, no, don't run.
Yeah,
it's fine,
like, dude. Or people on the road who you'll sort of be going to cross. You'll be near. You won't even be starting to cross the road. You'll be 50 feet away from getting to the road that you want to cross. And there's already people on that road who stop their cars, hold up traffic, and then they're going to wait for you to walk 50 feet to get to the street, then walk all the way across the street. It's like people try to be do-gooders, and again, there's nothing wrong with it. But again, the distinction is doing what's natural is natural. I mean, look at that. That's how animals are. That's how life is. Plants, everything. They just do what's natural. Mm-hmm. And we're the only organism that has this intellect that we can scramble and mess up. And now I got to be a do-gooder. Now I got to hold the door for someone 75 feet away. And it's like, again, I'm not crapping on doing good things. Doing good things is fine, but it has the way you do it has a consequence, right?
Yeah. No, right on. Yeah. Someone in the chat was like, "This is still happening." I guess we've been at it for a while, maybe an hour and a half. Sorry, Chris. By the way,
no, that's Devona. She left early.
Oh, okay.
She missed all the good. A good conversation.
All the really good conversation. By the way, let me just say this. I really appreciate the fact that you can have this dialogue with me and not lose your mind with it and not let it devolve to some kind of name calling, shouting, you're an idiot. Like, I just appreciate this. This, to me, I find this kind of conversation refreshing and inspiring in a lot of ways. And I just don't think we do enough of it, where we just, usually it devolves down into some kind of like, I'm right and you're wrong. By the way, I don't think you're wrong. I don't know. And so I just appreciate that you can have this conversation with me. So thanks for putting up with me during the time here. I appreciate it.
Yeah, sure,
it's
man.
been great.
No,
I don't know if it's been riveting conversation for folks in the chat room. I don't know if that's why they came to the lounge tonight, but
Well,
that's what
we
they
don't-
cause and effect. That's what they got. I
Yeah,
joined.
that's what they got.
You got this.
Yeah, no, this is lounge. This is good lounge programming right here. No,
Yeah, I
and
like
yes,
it.
and Jim, I also appreciate you very much talking about these topics, and
Yeah,
I
I like it.
don't even think about, like, when it comes to talking about spirituality, it's never like controversial, or it's never an actual argument. Like, it's never anything like that. It's just learning, and well, it's just discussion is what it is. So
Yeah. No, I think it's good. I think we could use more of this, just to be honest, more dialogue like this where
Yeah.
people challenge each other's ideas and say, I don't know, what do you think? And
Yeah,
you
but-
kind of go, I think it's good.
It is good. It weirds me out a little because when it like to me, spirituality isn't something to be debated. It's something to be
Sure.
practiced by an individual and experienced
Yeah.
in an individual's life. Like, that's spirituality. Like, all this theory and stuff is fine, but like when it really comes down to it, our minds are not very regulated at all. I mean, no one can meditate for real.
No.
I mean, meditation nowadays is like, oh, put on some soft music with a glass of wine and pet your dog on the couch. I'm meditating. Or it's a pep talk. You are worthy. You are beautiful.
Yeah.
And again, there's nothing wrong with those things.
Some people need that. Some people need it.
To evolve spiritually and to regulate our minds and to actually change our characters and grow into higher entities or a much better version of myself.
Yeah.
I mean, no one even thinks about that. And even most of the people like you and me right now talking about this, I mean, you're not going to start a meditation practice. No one here is going to start meditating because of this. No one here is going to look into what are samskaras and karma and past lives and like no one. This is just fodder, really. The real thing is if someone does it in their life.
You may underestimate the power of your persuasion, Chris. Like there may be somebody who says, I need to check this out a little bit more. Like, and it may not be this, it may not be because of this conversation, but maybe conversations that have stacked up and they go, hey, I like what Chris Curran's doing. I want to be more like him. Maybe I'll dig into this thing a little bit more. That Collison guy, he's kind of a jackass, so I'm not going to do anything he says. But you never know. You never really know. Right. And I don't ever think it's one conversation. I think this is kind of the fundamental truth of podcasting is that, I'm going to bring it back to podcasting. That's what I do. It's my job on Ask the Podcast Coach. Always bring it back to podcasting. It's never one thing we say. I think it's always a series of things. It's always a consistent, when we say it consistently and we live it and people see it and it becomes truth because it happens in our own lives, not truth because we said it's true, but truth because it's lived to be true. And I think that's when people start going, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense, right? The influencing side of being a podcaster is when people hear it over and over and over and over again. You can do a podcast for a month and lie the whole, or 2 months, maybe even 6, lie your way through the whole thing, but try to do it for 10 and lie. Like that just doesn't, that's another one of those things to go back to the beginning of the show. You can't lie. You cannot live a lie for 10 years. I don't know. Maybe really good people can, but I don't think most people can do it. Right. The consistency in those behaviors is what leads to the truthful outcomes in somebody that they can do it consistently over long periods of time. That I think is a good indication of truth.
Very well said.
Very
good. All right. Shall we wrap it up, Jim Collison? Yeah. So
I hope I didn't make it weird for you, did I?
No. This is awesome. I basically gave one-on-one meditation sessions with people for years. People would come to my house. 10, 15 people a week, individually, one-on-one, would come to where I lived, and we would meditate. So as part of the practice I was doing. So I mean, I've done public speeches where I try to explain spirituality and all that, and the system we were doing.
What's your longest meditation ever been?
Well, so the system I did, the longest prescribed length was 60 minutes, because if you meditate longer than 60 minutes, like you can, there's nothing to saying you can't, but like,
yeah, God, that takes
for a daily meditation, like 60 minutes is good. And doing more in a row isn't usually even beneficial. Yeah. So we were taught, if you want to do 60 minutes, if you want to meditate more, do 60 minutes, take a short break, and then do another 60 minutes or whatever you want to do.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of huge benefits to meditating. By the way, I mean, I think our it has some good benefit, even if you don't do the spiritual aspect of things. I think that the active meditation can be really, really good for people.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Yeah. That is one of those things. Hey, if you're doing it and it's working for you, that's a thing. If it's having an effect for you, and that you need that, and it's part of what you do, who's anybody to say anything about that, right? So
I agree.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I hope everyone watching has enjoyed this. Thank you for attending the lounge. Thank you, Jim Collison.
Sorry.
Tell people where to go, Jim. Where do you want people to go?
I don't know. They don't know what's going to follow me after this. TheAverageGuy.tv. They'll be like, oh my God, this guy's crazy.
Come on. Everyone's going to go there now. TheAverageGuy.tv.
I'm watching. Go. I have the screen up right.
Let's overwhelm his website right now. Go, everyone. TheAverageGuy.tv.
Just a bunch of tech mumbo jumbo. Thanks, Chris. It's always great hanging out. It's always great hanging out with you, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, man. I really appreciate it too. Great discussion.
Have a good night.
All right, thanks everybody.
Yeah, have a good night. We'll see you guys.
Say goodbye. All right, bye.